1. I hunted after school, in the afternoons. She walked home, she always did. Her braids bounced, they always did, swinging left and right while her feet moved forward and back. They were never in sync, but it worked. A girl is a strange engine. I rode behind her, crossing the busy road from the school, then left at the corner, another block, and right, onto the dead-end road. Her house was at the end, the furthest. She wasn't a slow walker. Girls rarely are. Even if they have nowhere to be, they keep a quick pace. Maybe their mothers taught them never to linger. Maybe all their lives are spent racing from one safe place to the next, like beautiful birds in a world full of kidnapped cages. I rode my bike in slow loops. I had to, or I'd overtake her. Her eyes would flicker up over me for just a moment to assess the danger, then wonder why I was riding a road that went nowhere. 2. I didn't pick her, she picked me. She stood out. They always do. The ones you fall in love with before you even know them. They light up from the inside, hovering over the schoolyard like a UFO. She was like that. Alien. You look up at her floating there, suspended within a soap bubble, and want to go with her, wherever she's going. You can tell she wasn't built for this place. The world sliding off that pale skin, our yellow sun never burned. Those eyes that spark with little fires. Take me with you, you plead her, but she can never hear you. She is up in the air. She is exploring the universe, lost in space. The other kids don't notice her floating. They just admire her height. 3. After the bell I move slowly. Waste time. Bells always make the same shrill sound, both when they call you and release you. A fire or freedom. You hear that, and you're supposed to react. I unlock my bike, push it across the grass while she waves goodbye to her friends, then wait as she crosses the campus and disappear behind the first house. I start my long loops and look at her blonde braids, lift my nose in the air to see if I can smell her. Girls smell like mixed perfumes, soap, and gentle heaps of dirty laundry. They probably sleep in those heaps, limbs tangled in old t-shirts, hoodies, ripped jeans. They rise each morning to fight over the tub with their sisters, then argue for the mirror so they can be first to gaze at themselves. Smear lip gloss with their thumbs, spray their necks and forearms with tiny bottles of cheap perfume that glitter under drugstore light. Who do they want to smell good for? High school boys and future lovers. To reassure themselves they are lovely. They are flowers with 2 feet, good grades, and menstruation. If you put a 50% off sticker on anything, they'd buy it. Girls always want rich. They'll peel the sticker off when they get home, though, because no one can know they're rich at a discount. She had a name, but I didn't know it. I liked to call her Celeste, because it rhymed with molest, and that sounded both dirty and holy. Mostly I just thought of her as the inside girl. And as I followed her, making loops in the street, I daydreamed. What's inside the inside girl? 4. It was the same, day after day. At the bell the kids scattered like a bag of cats, untied in a storm. They disappeared into hundreds of houses and ceased to exist until the next day. Sometimes I followed her on foot. If there's a sunny side of the street, a pretty girl will choose it. They like to walk on the runway and in the spotlight. But she didn't. Mostly she walked down the center, like she owned it. Because I guess, in part, she did. But walking comes with a price. If you notice someone walking behind you, that's creepy, personal, scary. But a boy on a bike is just a boy on a bike. Villains don't pedal dirt bikes with surf stickers and unlaced shoes down suburban streets on blue afternoons. She never looked at me. Not once. I liked that. Invisibility. Both protection and shame. Her neighborhood was the kind that looked empty even when it wasn't. Suburban houses in sick hospital colors. Blind windows. Curtains drawn like the eyelids of the dead. It let people pretend they were alone without really being alone. No one's alone, are they? Not really. Just the way humans need it. If you pressed your ear to those walls, you'd hear the slow digestion of the neighborhood itself. Kids and pets and fathers all slowly turning to mulch inside their separate rooms. The earth recycling us, like we're fat worms in a garden. I didn't want to talk to her, just wanted her to notice me, just once. Maybe wave or ask, "Do you live around here?" With those eyes drilling into me. But then I didn't want that either. Afraid if she spoke, when I tried to reply, my words would fall out my mouth like short black snakes running for the grass. Or I might drool, then pedal away, quickly, leaving a trail. What would it be like to be in her gaze, you think? Caught or held? Would she love you just a little? Maybe you'd smile like her too, carelessly. What would it be like to be born a beautiful thing and walk through the world like that? I think girls are filled with milk and ribbons, bones like whistles, little bottles of cherry cola or horse lather. Do they dream in soap? Do their thoughts smell like conditioner? Do they have their father's nail mirrors on the ceilings above their beds, so they can just lie there, staring in awe at their virginity? 5. I skipped the last class on Friday. There was a chance a teacher might notice, but it was the last class before a holiday weekend. Teachers only give half a shit on their best days. I walked out past the monkey bars where some kids smoked or took pictures of each other. I kept walking into the woods where I'd locked my bike that morning, then stopped and looked back. No one. I rode too fast. Nerves. I had an hour at least. Down the road, where everyone passing in cars must have known I should have been in class. I turned onto her street and pedaled to the end. Up her driveway, left my bike in her backyard, wheels still spinning, close to the levee, just in case I had to run. Sometimes you don't need a plan, just a goal. The first window was locked. I pushed up and it pushed back. Then one wasn't. It slid up. If you pressed on one side and then the other, like a seesaw. The pulse in my ears pounded like I'd put my head in a drum. I scrambled in, probably leaving shoe marks on the wall, then stood looking down the hall. This was where she'd lived her whole life. Tears and arguments, giggles, dreams, wet beds, board games, fantasies. Where she beat the fig tree with a belt one time when she was angry. Tried on her mother's bra and shoes. Wrote her name in the bottom corner of every room where only she could see it. Pressed her ear to the wall to hear her parents fighting, fucking, or both. Looked at herself in the bathroom mirror too long to see who blinks first. 6. People come here with nothing, don't they? And then they begin to collect. As if the collection were a wall too high for death to ever jump over. I walked carefully. You don't want to disturb the past. Besides, the house might know I was an intruder. The refrigerator hum would stop. Then it would chase me down the hall, its sideways mouth opening and closing. The first door was her parents' room, and like all parents' rooms, empty, devoid of any personality. Maybe when you take two people with two different personalities and mix them together, they lose both. When you grow up, at some point you put away your posters and pictures of friends and opt for nothing but bare walls. Maybe that's the process of leaving. There was a double bed, some dressers, carpet they were careful to keep stains out of, a strange hanger that held 100 ties, a closet segregated by gender, like school bathrooms. We can cohabitate, but we can never mix, they say, then give a kiss on a cheek. 7. Her room was a little messy but clean. It smelled like a girl, not soap, but clean in a different way. Clean like a closet where someone keeps their secrets folded. Or clean like the young, who haven't had time to get very dirty. Pink sheets, a desk covered in nail polish bottles, a fuzzy lamp, a row of bag charms and purse pets, a notebook with her handwriting, small and sharp, like she was trying to pin something down. I took my time, opened drawers, not to steal, just to experience. Well, steal if there was something I could keep, if it was small, in my pocket. There were yearbooks, pictures in cute frames, an underwear drawer with a divider for socks. I smelled all her perfume bottles, held a small beaded necklace in my mouth for a minute, sat on her bed and held a pillow to my face, then took off my shoes and slid under her blanket. Her bed wasn't like mine, stiff, scratchy, cheap. Hers was soft, deep, and inviting. Parents buy different beds for boys and girls. The boys get mattresses like army cots. The girls get soft thrones. They know this is where she'll rule the men that love her and rule her world. There were so many weird things that meant nothing to me, but something to her. A sticker with 2 cherries, finger puppets of a rabbit and a man with a yellow hat, a silver box with an elephant and a broken red rosary inside, a little white monster with black bead eyes you could hang from a corner of something, seashells and rocks, a little rubber monkey the size of a thumbnail, a patch from St. Moritz and another from Paris. I was holding the monkey and telling it was a good monkey, asking where it came from, if she had bought it from the zoo, if it had seen her naked, and what that was like. When I heard the front door, you tell yourself you'll be smooth under pressure, but that's bullshit. You won't be. Panic doesn't whisper. It screams like a bell, then forgets itself. You lose track of how you even got here. I gave the bed a quick, pointless swipe, snatched my shoes, and stumbled for the window, kicking her stuffed animals as I fled. Half out the window, I looked back and caught a glimpse of someone in her bedroom mirror, and for a second, not even a second, I saw her, standing in her doorway, not angry, not scared, just curious. Then the reflection was me again, falling out the window. I hit the ground head first. I left the window partway open, afraid she could see through the walls. The bike was waiting, as bikes do. 7. I waited a week. When I saw her in school, I studied the ground. In the cafeteria, I chose the furthest corner, ate quickly, then sipped my soda outside. I watched to see if she'd look up or whisper about me, or if she told anyone else. Nothing. Finally, I decided to follow again, but carefully, to see if she knew. She didn't, at first. Then she did. Halfway down her block, she turned suddenly and stared at me. I stopped too, Nowhere to run, no windows to climb through. I approached her slowly, as if she were a wooden gallows. 8. It was nothing, really. She asked my name, said she'd seen me around, and offered me some chocolate milk. She smiled, and for a second I thought she actually saw me, like when you're swimming in the ocean and realize you've been carried away by a riptide. I parked my bike on her sidewalk, used the kickstand this time, stood behind her awkwardly as she unlocked the door, and noticed her pigtails were still swinging, even though her body had stopped. Inside her house was normal at first, and then it wasn't. The walls were wrong, the carpet was wrong, no popcorn ceiling or wall lights. The hallway had a kind of heartbeat, and by the time we got to her bedroom, it pulsed. The walls seemed slick at first, then pink with pink veins, then red with red veins, meaty. She calmly sat on the edge of the bed and looked at me, really looked at me. The smile was gone. "You don't enter a girl," she said. "You get digested."